Welcome to BL Dark Rebirth Anime, where original stories come alive and my story begins. They say when two Alpha Kings want the same thing, kingdoms fall. I didn't believe that until I became the thing they wanted. My name is River Calloway, and I'm an Omega with a gift I never asked for. I can see the truth people bury, every lie, every secret, every ugly thing they hide behind their smiles. It's called psychometry, and all I have to do is touch something they've touched, and their memories bleed into mine like poison. Most days, I wish I couldn't feel anything at all. But tonight, standing in the rain outside the Silvercrest Council Hall in Washington State, I can feel everything. The cold biting through my jacket, the fear curling in my stomach, and the weight of two sets of eyes on me from the shadows. They're watching. And I already know this is going to ruin me. I pull my hood lower and shove my hands deeper into my pockets, trying to ignore the prickling sensation crawling up my spine. The council hall looms ahead like a courthouse from some old noir film. Stone columns, arched windows, and enough pretentious architecture to remind everyone who holds the power around here. Not me, obviously. I'm here because my little brother Dylan got himself tangled up with the wrong pack. Again. The Iron Claw pack, to be specific. A group of rogue alphas who think territory laws don't apply to them. Dylan's not a fighter. He's barely 17, still figuring out if he's a beta or a late-blooming alpha, and he's got a smart mouth that writes checks his body can't cash. Sound familiar? Yeah, I get it from him. 3 days ago, he borrowed a motorcycle from someone connected to the Iron Claws. He thought it was abandoned. It wasn't. Now I'm here to negotiate his release before they decide to make an example out of him. I don't knock. I push the door open and step inside, shaking rain from my hair. The interior is warmer but no less intimidating. Wood-paneled walls, low lighting, and a long table at the center where 5 council members sit like judges at a trial. 2 of them I recognize. And that's the problem. On the left, Dominic Ashford, Alpha King of the Silvercrest Pack. 32, built like he was carved from marble and bad decisions, with dark hair that's always perfectly tousled and gray eyes that could freeze blood. He's wearing a black suit, no tie, looking like he just stepped out of a boardroom where he destroyed someone's career for fun. On the right, Callum Drake, Alpha King of the Ironwood Pack. 30, leaner, but no less dangerous, with auburn hair, sharp green eyes, and a smile that could sell you a knife right before he buried it in your back. He's in a charcoal sweater and dark jeans, casual, like this is all a game to him. They're both staring at me, and neither of them looks surprised. River Calloway, Dominic says, voice low and smooth, like whiskey poured over gravel. Right on time, I raise an eyebrow. You were expecting me? Callum leans back in his chair, fingers steepled, that smirk still playing on his lips. We've been expecting you for 3 days. My stomach drops, but I keep my face neutral. Cool, love being predictable. Where's my brother? Dominic stands, and the room seems to shrink. He doesn't move fast, doesn't need to. His presence alone is suffocating, the kind of authority that makes Omegas drop their eyes and Alphas step aside. I don't look away. His jaw tightens. Good. I hate it when they think I'm easy. Your brother is unharmed, Dominic says, moving around the table toward me. For now. For now? I repeat, voice flat. What's that supposed to mean? Callum stands too, slower, predatory. He moves to the other side, and now I'm flanked. Classic alpha intimidation tactics. Surround the Omega. Make him feel small. Make him submit. I cross my arms. If this is the part where you try to scare me, you're going to need better material. I've had alphas twice your size try this. Didn't work then either. Callum laughs, a low, genuine sound that catches me off guard. I like him. You don't get to like him, Dominic snaps, and the temperature in the room drops 5 degrees. Oh, I glance between them, and suddenly the tension makes sense. This isn't about Dylan. This is about them. Let me guess, I say, keeping my voice light, even though my heart's hammering. You two hate each other, and my brother just happened to piss off the one pack that would give you an excuse to meet. Callum's smirk widens. Smart and pretty, dangerous combination. Dominic shoots him a glare that could peel paint. Your brother stole from my allied pack. That makes this my jurisdiction. Funny, Callum counters smoothly, because the bike belonged to one of my distant cousins. That makes it my property. I hold up a hand. Okay, great. You're both very powerful and territorial. Can we skip the dick measuring contest and get to the part where you tell me what you want? Silence. Then Dominic steps closer. Close enough that I can smell him. Pine and smoke and something darker, something that makes my Omega instincts scream danger and safe at the same time. We want you, he says simply. My brain short-circuits. Excuse me? Callum moves in from the other side, and now I'm boxed in, their scents mixing in the air around me, pine and smoke from Dominic, cedarwood and rain from Callum. It's overwhelming, intoxicating. Your brother's debt can be forgiven, Callum says quietly, his voice closer to my ear than I'd like. But only if you agree to our terms. I swallow hard, hating the way my body reacts to their proximity. And what exactly are those terms? Dominic's grey eyes lock onto mine. And for the first time tonight, I see something raw beneath the ice. You belong to us now. I blink. Once, twice. Then I laugh. It's not a polite laugh. It's the kind that bursts out when someone says something so absurd, your brain needs a second to reboot. I'm sorry, I say, pressing a hand to my chest like I'm clutching pearls. Did you just say, I belong to you? Plural. Dominic's expression doesn't change. Yes. Like a pet, a trophy, a really complicated timeshare. Callum's smirk deepens. More like a solution. I take a step back, but there's nowhere to go. The table's behind me, and they're in front, close enough that I can feel the heat radiating off both of them. My Omega instincts are doing that annoying thing where they try to decide if I should submit or bolt. And I tell them to shut up, because I'm not doing either. Let me explain something, I say, keeping my voice steady. I don't belong to anyone. Not you, not him, not the council, not even my own biology. So whatever weird territorial alpha fantasy you two are playing out, leave me out of it. Dominic tilts his head, studying me like I'm a puzzle he's trying to solve. You don't understand the situation you're in. Oh, I understand perfectly, I shoot back. You two hate each other. You're probably fighting over territory or trade routes or who gets to sit at the big boy table during pack summits. And somehow, my idiot brother gave you the perfect excuse to drag me into the middle of it. Callum steps closer, and I hate how good he smells. Cedarwood and rain, with an undercurrent of something wild and electric. It makes my skin prickle. You're right, he says softly. We do hate each other, but that doesn't change the fact that we both want you. My stomach flips, not in a good way, or maybe in a good way. I can't tell, because my body's a traitor. Why? I ask, and I hate how small my voice sounds. Dominic moves, circling around me slowly, and I track him with my eyes, refusing to turn my back on either of them. Because you're an unclaimed Omega, with a gift that makes you invaluable. You can see the truth in anything you touch. Do you have any idea how dangerous that makes you? I swallow. I'm not dangerous. No, Callum agrees, his voice closer now, right behind me. But the people who want to use you are. I spin around, glaring at him. So what? You're doing this out of the goodness of your hearts. Protecting me? His green eyes gleam. Would you believe me if I said yes? Not even a little. He grins. Smart. Dominic's voice cuts through the tension like a blade. There are 3 unclaimed Omegas left in Washington state. You're one of them, and every Alpha with ambition is circling. My blood runs cold. I knew there weren't many of us left, but 3? That's it? So you want to what? I say slowly, piecing it together. Claim me first, before someone else does. Not just claim, Callum murmurs. Protect, possess, keep. The way he says it makes my knees weak, and I hate him for it. And what do I get out of this, I ask, crossing my arms to hide the fact that my hands are shaking. Besides being stuck between 2 alphas who can't stand each other. Dominic stops directly in front of me. So close, I have to tilt my head back to meet his eyes. Your brother goes free. No charges, no debt. And you get protection from every other alpha who'd kill to have you. Lucky me, I mutter. His jaw tightens. This isn't a negotiation, River. Everything's a negotiation, I fire back. And I haven't agreed to anything. Callum laughs again, low and rough. I told you I liked him. Dominic ignores him, his grey eyes boring into mine. You don't have a choice. And that's when I feel it. The pull. It starts low in my chest, like a hook buried deep, tugging me toward both of them at once. My Omega instincts flare, louder than they've ever been, screaming at me to get closer, to let them touch me, to submit. I stumble back, gasping, and both alphas freeze. What? I press a hand to my chest, trying to breathe through the overwhelming surge of need clawing through me. What the hell was that? Dominic's eyes widen, just slightly, enough for me to notice. Callum's smirk vanishes. You felt it. Felt what? I demand, panic creeping into my voice. They exchange a look, a long, heavy look that makes my stomach drop. River, Dominic says carefully, like he's trying not to spook a wild animal. When's the last time you were around an alpha? I frown. I don't know. A few weeks? Why? Callum swears under his breath. He doesn't know. Know what? I snap. Dominic steps closer, and I back up until I hit the table. He doesn't touch me, but he's close enough that I can feel the heat of him, the sheer weight of his presence pressing down on me. You're going into heat, he says quietly. The room tilts. No, I breathe. No. I can't be. I'm on suppressants. I haven't had a heat in 2 years. Callum's voice is low, almost gentle. Suppressants fail when you're near a compatible alpha, and you're near 2. My knees give out. Dominic catches me before I hit the ground, his hands firm on my arms, steadying me. His touch sends a jolt through me, sharp and electric, and I gasp. Let go, I whisper, but it sounds more like a plea than a command. I can't, he says, and for the first time, he sounds almost conflicted. Callum moves in, his hand brushing my shoulder, and the heat doubles, spreading through me like wildfire. We need to get him out of here, Callum says urgently. Where? Dominic snaps. Anywhere but here. I try to pull away, but my body won't listen. The room's spinning, their sense overwhelming, and all I can think is, this is bad. This is so, so bad. River, Dominic's voice cuts through the haze. Look at me. I force my eyes open, meeting his. We're not going to hurt you, he says, and for once, he sounds like he means it. Callum's hand tightens on my shoulder. But if you stay here, someone else will. I shove Dominic's hands off me, stumbling sideways and nearly tripping over my own feet. The heat coursing through my veins makes everything feel too tight, too hot, too much. Don't touch me, I gasp, holding up a hand like that'll actually stop two Alpha Kings. Either of you. Callum raises his hands in mock surrender, but his eyes are dark, tracking every movement I make. We're trying to help. Help? I laugh, but it comes out shaky. You just told me I'm going into heat because of you two. And now you want me to believe you're the good guys. Dominic's jaw clenches. We didn't cause this. Bullshit. I press my back against the wall, trying to put as much distance between us as possible. My skin feels like it's buzzing, every nerve ending on fire. You said it yourself. Suppressants fail around compatible alphas. So yeah, this is exactly your fault. Compatible doesn't mean chosen, Callum says, his voice maddeningly calm. Your body recognizes us. That's biology, not conspiracy. Oh, great. So I'm just supposed to what? Roll over and accept this? I glare at him. Thanks, but I'd rather chew glass. Dominic takes a step forward, and I flinch. He stops immediately, something flashing across his face that almost looks like hurt. Almost. River, he says, and his voice is softer now, careful. If you walk out of here in preheat, every alpha within a mile will smell you. Do you understand what that means? I do. Of course I do, but admitting it feels like giving up. I can take care of myself, I say through gritted teeth. Callum snorts. Right, because you look so in control right now. I flip him off, which only makes him grin. Charming, he says. I can see why Dominic's so tense. Dominic shoots him a look that could melt steel. Shut up, Drake. Make me, Ashford. Oh my God, I mutter, pressing the heels of my hands against my eyes. Are you two seriously doing this now? I'm literally going into heat, and you're having a pissing contest. They both fall silent. When I lower my hands, they're staring at me again. That same intense, unnerving focus that makes me want to run and stay at the same time. This is insane, I say, more to myself than them. I came here to get Dylan back. That's it. I'm not signing up for whatever twisted pack politics you two are playing. Then don't, Dominic says simply. I blink. What? He crosses his arms, leaning against the table, like we're discussing the weather. You want your brother? Fine, he's free. No conditions. I narrow my eyes. What's the catch? No catch. His grey eyes bore into mine. But you still need to get out of here before your scent draws attention. And whether you like it or not, we're the safest option you have right now. Safest? I repeat incredulously. You two look like you want to rip each other apart. Callum shrugs. We do, but we'd rip apart anyone who touched you first. The certainty in his voice sends a shiver down my spine. Not fear, something worse. Want. I shake my head, trying to clear it. This is crazy. You don't even know me. We know enough, Dominic says quietly. Like what? I challenge. That I'm an unclaimed Omega with a useful gift? That makes me valuable, not worth protecting. Callum moves closer, slower this time, like he's approaching a skittish animal. You think we're doing this for your gift, aren't you? He stops a few feet away, close enough that I can see the gold flecks in his green eyes. If that's all we wanted, we'd have taken you already. You're in preheat, surrounded by two alphas in a locked room. Do you really think you could stop us? My breath catches. He's right. I hate that he's right. But we haven't, he continues, his voice dropping lower. Because we're not monsters, River. And we're not going to force you into anything. Then let me leave, I whisper. Dominic's voice cuts through the air. You can leave. Right now. Walk out that door, and we won't stop you. I look at him, searching for the lie. But his expression is unreadable. carved from stone. However, he adds, the second you step outside, your scent will hit the street. And I guarantee you won't make it 3 blocks before someone tries to claim you. I'll take my chances, I say, even though my legs feel like jelly. Callum sighs. You're stubborn, I respect that, but you're also being stupid. Wow, flattery. That'll definitely make me trust you. He grins. I'm not trying to flatter you. I'm trying to keep you alive. Why? I demand, frustration boiling over. Why do you even care? The question hangs in the air, heavy and raw. Dominic and Callum exchange another look, and for a moment, something passes between them. Something I can't read. Then Dominic speaks, his voice low and rough. Because the moment you walked through that door, everything changed. My heart pounds. That's not an answer. It's the only one you're getting tonight, Callum says. He pulls a set of keys from his pocket and tosses them to Dominic, who catches them without looking. Take him to the safe house. I'll handle the council. You're not coming? Dominic asks, and there's an edge to his voice I can't place. Callum's smile is sharp. Someone has to make sure no one follows. Besides, you're better at playing nice. I don't play nice. Exactly my point. I hold up a hand. Wait. Hold on. No one's taking me anywhere. I didn't agree to this. Dominic pockets the keys and looks at me, his expression unreadable. Then what do you suggest? I suggest you give me my brother, and we both pretend this never happened. Can't do that, Callum says. You're already in our system now. Every alpha in the territory will know by morning. Know what? That you're ours. The possessiveness in his voice makes my stomach flip. I'm not yours, I grit out. Dominic steps closer, and this time I don't back away. I can't. My body won't move. Not yet, he says softly, but you will be. His hand reaches out, fingers brushing my cheek, and the touch is so gentle it breaks something inside me. I jerk back, breathless. Don't. He drops his hand immediately, but his eyes stay locked on mine. We're not the enemy. River? Then who is? Callum's voice is grim. Everyone else. The weight of those 2 words settles over me like a lead blanket. Everyone else. I want to argue, want to tell them they're being dramatic, that I've survived this long without 2 overbearing alpha kings hovering over me. But the truth is, I can already feel it. The heat crawling under my skin, making every breath harder, every thought fuzzier. I hate this. I hate feeling weak. Fine, I bite out. But I have conditions. Dominic raises an eyebrow. You're negotiating now? I'm always negotiating. That's how I've stayed unclaimed this long. I straighten up, ignoring the tremor in my legs. First, I want to see Dylan. Tonight, before I go anywhere with you. Callum nods. Done. He's 2 floors down. Second, no marking. No claiming. No bond. This is temporary until I figure out what the hell is happening to me. Dominic's jaw tightens, but he doesn't argue. Agreed. Third, I continue, gaining confidence. You 2 figure out whatever territorial alpha drama you've got going on away from me. I'm not a referee, and I'm not a prize. Callum's grin returns. Can't promise that one. Try harder. Dominic cuts in before Callum can respond. Anything else? I meet his gaze, refusing to back down, even though every instinct is screaming at me to submit to those cold grey eyes. Yeah, you tell me the truth, all of it. Why you really want me. Silence. Then Callum moves, closing the distance between us in 2 long strides. He stops just close enough that I have to tilt my head back to look at him, and his scent wraps around me like smoke. You want the truth? He asks, voice low. That's what I said. His green eyes search mine. You're the first Omega either of us has wanted in 5 years. My breath catches. That's not possible. It's rare, Dominic says from behind me, and I startle. I didn't hear him move. Most alphas go their entire lives without finding a compatible Omega. Some of us have learned to live without one. And yet here you both are, I say, trying to sound unaffected even though my heart is racing. Fighting over me like I'm the last slice of pizza. Callum laughs, surprised. Did you just compare yourself to pizza? I'm delicious, and everyone wants a piece. The metaphor works. Even Dominic's lips twitch, though he tries to hide it. Look, I say, softening slightly. I get that this is some big biological thing. But I'm not going to just roll over because my body thinks you smell nice. We smell nice? Callum asks, grinning. Shut up. You know what I mean. Dominic's hand settles on my shoulder, and the touch sends heat spiraling through me. I stiffen, but he doesn't pull away. We're not asking you to submit, River, he says quietly. We're asking you to trust us, just for tonight. Trust you? I twist to look at him. I don't even know you. Then get to know us, Callum says. What else are you going to do? Go home and hope your heat doesn't hit before morning? He's right, and I hate it. I close my eyes, trying to think through the fog settling over my brain. Dylan is safe. That's what matters. Everything else I can figure out later. Okay, I finally say. One night. But if either of you tries anything, I swear I'll find a way to make you regret it. Callum's grin widens. I'm looking forward to it. Dominic shoots him a warning look before turning back to me. Can you walk? Of course I can walk, I snap, taking a step forward to prove it. My knees buckle immediately. Dominic catches me before I hit the ground, one arm sliding around my waist, pulling me against his chest. The contact makes my skin burn, and I gasp. Let go, I manage, even though my hands are gripping his shirt. You're shaking, he murmurs, and there's something almost tender in his voice. I'm fine. You're not. His other hand comes up, brushing hair back from my face, and the gentleness of it nearly breaks me. Stop fighting for 1 second, and let me help you. I want to argue, want to shove him away, and prove I don't need anyone. But the truth is, I'm scared. Scared of what's happening to my body. Scared of how good it feels to be this close to him. I hate this, I whisper. I know, Dominic says. Callum appears beside us, his expression more serious now. We need to move. Now. Dominic nods and shifts his grip, lifting me into his arms like I weigh nothing. Put me down, I protest weakly. No. This is humiliating. This is practical, he counters. You can barely stand. Callum opens the door, checking the hallway before motioning us forward. Clear. Let's go. Dominic carries me out of the council room, and I bury my face against his shoulder, hating how safe I feel, hating how much I want to stay here. The hallway is dimly lit, empty except for the sound of our footsteps. Callum leads the way, moving with a predator's grace, every sense alert. Where are we going, I ask, my voice muffled against Dominic's shirt. Somewhere safe, he says. That's not an answer. It's the only one you're getting right now. We reach a stairwell, and Callum pushes through the door. The temperature drops immediately, the concrete walls echoing our movements. Dylan, I say suddenly, trying to push away from Dominic. You said he was 2 floors down. He is, Callum says without turning, and we'll get him. But first, we're getting you out of the main building. Why? Dominic's arms tighten around me. Because your scent is getting stronger. If anyone smells you like this, they'll come looking. Let them, I mutter. I can handle myself. Against 1 alpha, maybe, Callum says, glancing back. Against 5, 10. You wouldn't last 5 minutes. The certainty in his voice sends a chill through me. How many alphas are in this building? I ask quietly. Dominic and Callum exchange a look. Too many, Dominic finally says. We descend another flight of stairs, and I feel it. The pull. It's getting worse, harder to resist, like invisible threads, wrapping around my chest and tugging me toward both of them. Something's wrong, I gasp. Callum stops, turning back. What is it? I don't know. It feels like. I trail off, unable to explain the sensation. Dominic's hand moves to the back of my neck, and the touch grounds me, pulls me back from the edge. Breathe, he orders, voice firm. I do. Once. Twice. Better? He asks. I nod, not trusting my voice. Callum curses under his breath. He's dropping faster than I thought. We need to get him out of here, Dominic says. I'm right here, I snap, finding my voice again. Stop talking about me like I'm not. Callum's lips curve. There he is. Before I can fire back a sarcastic comment, a door above us slams open. Voices echo down the stairwell, sharp and aggressive. Did you catch the scent? Sweet. Omega. Unmated. Which floor? My blood turns to ice. Dominic's entire body goes rigid beneath me, and Callum's hand moves to something at his hip. A weapon, I realize. He's armed. Move, Callum hisses. Now. We descend faster, Dominic's grip tightening as he takes the stairs 3 at a time. My stomach lurches with each jarring step, but I bite down on my lip to keep from making a sound. The voices get closer. I'm telling you, it's coming from below. Then let's go get him. Footsteps thunder above us, multiple sets, moving fast. Dominic, Callum says, his voice tight. We're not going to make it to the car. I know. So what's the plan? Dominic kicks open a door on the next landing, and suddenly we're in a narrow hallway lined with storage rooms. He moves quickly, scanning the doors until he finds one that's unlocked. In here, he says, shouldering it open. The room is small, dark, filled with filing cabinets and boxes. There's barely enough space for the 3 of us. Callum shuts the door behind us, locking it as quietly as possible. Dominic sets me down, but keeps one hand on my waist, steadying me. The heat from his palm seeps through my shirt, and I have to fight the urge to lean into it. Don't move, he whispers against my ear. Don't make a sound. I nod, my heart hammering so loud I'm sure everyone in the building can hear it. The footsteps pass by our door. Slow, deliberate. You smell that? One of them says, voice muffled through the wood. Yeah, it's close. A hand jiggles our doorknob. Once, twice. I stop breathing. Callum shifts beside me, and in the dim light filtering through the gap under the door, I see the glint of a blade in his hand. His expression is cold, predatory. Nothing like the smirking alpha from earlier. This version of him is dangerous. The doorknob stops moving. It's locked, probably just storage, another voice says. Check it anyway. We don't have the key. Come on, he probably went out the back exit. Fine, but if the council finds out, we let an unmated Omega slip through, it's your head. The footsteps retreat. Fading down the hallway, no one moves, no one breathes. 30 seconds pass. A minute. Finally, Callum exhales. They're gone. I sag against the filing cabinet, my legs giving out. Dominic catches me again, lowering me to the floor, and this time I don't protest. I can't. My whole body is shaking. Who were they? I ask, my voice barely above a whisper. Council enforcers, Callum says, crouching beside me. Probably caught your scent and decided to investigate. Investigate, I repeat bitterly. Is that what we're calling it? Dominic kneels on my other side, close enough that our knees touch. If they'd found you, they would have tried to claim you on the spot. Council law allows it for unmated Omegas in heat. My stomach turns. That's barbaric. That's politics, Callum says. An unmated Omega is seen as unstable, a risk. Claiming you would be considered doing you a favor. A favor, I echo, laughing without humor. Right, because forcing a bond on someone is so generous. Dominic's hand finds mine in the darkness, his fingers threading through mine. The touch is grounding, warm, and I hate how much I need it. It won't happen, he says firmly. Not while we're here. Why? The question comes out raw, desperate. Why do you even care? You don't know me. You don't owe me anything. Silence fills the small space, thick and heavy. Then Callum speaks, his voice quieter than I've ever heard it. I had a brother. I turned toward him, barely able to make out his face in the shadows. He was an Omega, Callum continues, unclaimed, powerful, and stupid enough to think he didn't need anyone's protection. His jaw clenches. The council took him 5 years ago, said it was for his own good, that he needed guidance, structure, and alpha to keep him stable. My chest tightens. What happened to him? He's still alive, Callum says, if you can call it that. Bonded to an alpha twice his age who treats him like property. I see him once a year at council meetings, and he doesn't even look at me anymore. The pain in his voice is tangible, bleeding into the air between us. I'm sorry, I whisper. Don't be sorry, Callum says, his hand reaching out to touch my face. His thumb brushes my cheekbone. Gentle. Just don't end up like him. I swallow hard, trying to process everything. And you? I ask, turning to Dominic. What's your tragic backstory? His hand tightens around mine. I was engaged once, to an Omega. My breath catches. What happened? He was claimed by someone else while I was away on pack business. By the time I returned, the bond was already set. His voice is cold, emotionless, but I can hear the jagged edges underneath. I tried to fight it, challenge the alpha, lost. You lost, I repeat, incredulous. You're an alpha king. I wasn't then, Dominic says. I was just an heir with no real power. By the time I earned my title, it was too late. He was already bonded, already claimed, and pack law forbids breaking a completed bond. So you just let him go? What else could I do? His grey eyes find mine in the darkness, and I see it, the wound that never healed. Forcing him to break a bond would have killed him, so I walked away. The weight of his words settles over me, and suddenly everything makes sense. Why they're so protective. Why they're fighting so hard to keep me safe. They've both lost someone, and they're terrified of losing again. I'm not him, I say softly, squeezing Dominic's hand. Whoever he was, I'm not your second chance. I know, Dominic says. And I'm not your brother, I add, looking at Callum. I know that too, Callum replies. Good. I take a shaky breath. Because I'm not interested in being anyone's redemption arc. If I let you help me, it's because I'm choosing it. Not because I'm broken, and not because you need to fix something from your past. Callum's lips curve into a faint smile. You really are something else. Yeah, well, someone has to keep you two in check. Dominic's thumb traces circles on the back of my hand, and the simple gesture makes my heart ache. We should move soon. They'll do another sweep. And Dylan? I ask. We'll get him, Callum promises. But first, we get you somewhere safe. I nod, even though every part of me wants to argue, wants to run, wants to pretend none of this is happening. But I can't, because deep down, beneath all the fear and anger and stubborn pride, I know they're right. I need them, and that terrifies me more than anything else. Dominic helps me to my feet, his hands steadying me as another wave of heat, rolls through my body. It's getting worse. Harder to think. Harder to remember why I'm supposed to be fighting this. Can you stand? He asks, his voice low. Define stand, I mutter, gripping his arm. Because if you mean remain vertical without collapsing, then sure. But if you mean walk in a straight line without looking drunk, we might have a problem. Callum huffs a quiet laugh. At least your sense of humor's still intact. It's a coping mechanism. Sue me. Dominic's hand moves to the small of my back, and the touch sends sparks racing up my spine. I bite back a gasp, but not fast enough. His eyes darken, nostrils flaring slightly as he scents the air. We need to move, he says, voice rougher now, before this gets worse. Gets worse? I shake my head. This is already a nightmare. Trust me, Callum says, moving to the door and pressing his ear against it. It can get a lot worse. He cracks the door open, peering into the hallway. After a moment, he motions us forward. Clear. Stay close. We slip out of the storage room, Dominic keeping one arm around my waist as we move. The hallway feels endless, every shadow a potential threat. My senses are going haywire, picking up every sound, every scent, every shift in the air. And underneath it all, their scents, pine and smoke, cedarwood and rain, wrapping around me, pulling me under. We reach another stairwell, this one leading down instead of up. Callum takes point again, moving silently, and I wonder how many times he's done this, how many times he's had to sneak through hostile territory. Where are we going? I whisper. Service exit, Dominic murmurs against my ear. Leads to the parking garage. Callum's car is there. And Dylan? He's being held in the West Wing holding cells. We'll circle back for him once you're secure. I don't like this, I admit, leaving him here. He's safer than you are right now, Callum says over his shoulder. The council won't hurt him. You, on the other hand. He trails off, but I understand. I'm the one in danger. We reach the bottom of the stairwell, and Callum pushes open a heavy metal door. Cold air rushes in, carrying the smell of rain and exhaust. The parking garage is dimly lit, rows of cars stretching out into shadows. Almost there, Dominic says, and I can hear the tension in his voice. We're halfway to Callum's car when I feel it. A shift in the air. A presence. Wait, I breathe, stopping dead. Both alphas freeze. What is it? Callum asks, hand moving to his weapon again. I close my eyes, focusing on the sensation crawling over my skin. It's my gift, the psychometry, but stronger now, more intense, like the heat is amplifying it. Someone's here, I whisper. Someone's watching. Dominic's arm tightens around me. Where? I point toward the far corner, where the shadows are thickest. There. For a moment, nothing happens. Then a figure steps into the light. He's tall, broad-shouldered, with dark hair and eyes that gleam silver in the fluorescent lighting. An alpha. A strong one, judging by the way both Dominic and Callum tense beside me. Well, well, the stranger says, his voice smooth and cold. Dominic Ashford and Callum Drake. Together. This must be special. Marcus, Dominic growls. Get out of the way. Marcus. The name triggers something in my memory, but I can't place it through the fog clouding my thoughts. Marcus's gaze slides to me, and his nostrils flare. Is this him? The unclaimed Omega everyone's talking about? He's not unclaimed, Callum says, stepping forward. He's ours. Funny, Marcus says, tilting his head. I don't see any marks, no bond scent. Seems pretty unclaimed to me. My heart pounds. Who are you? Marcus Thorne, he says, smiling. It doesn't reach his eyes. Alpha of the Shadow Ridge Pack, and I'm here to make you an offer. Not interested, I say immediately. His smile widens, You haven't heard it yet. Don't need to. I lean into Dominic, using his solid presence to ground myself. I already told these two I'm not interested in being claimed. That goes double for random creeps in parking garages. Marcus laughs, but it's not a pleasant sound. I like you. You've got fire. That's rare in an Omega. Yeah, well, I'm full of surprises. Now if you'll excuse us. I'm afraid I can't let you leave, Marcus says, and suddenly 3 more alphas emerge from the shadows. They fan out, cutting off our escape routes. Callum swears viciously. Dominic shifts, positioning himself in front of me. This is a mistake, Marcus. No, Marcus says, his eyes locked on me. The mistake was letting you two think you could keep him. An unclaimed Omega belongs to whoever's strong enough to take him. Council law. He's not a possession, Dominic snarls. Tell that to the council. Marcus takes a step forward, and I feel Dominic's muscles coil, ready to strike. Hand him over peacefully, and we can all walk away from this. Not happening, Callum says, blade now visible in his hand. Marcus sighs. I was hoping you'd say that. Everything happens at once. Marcus's packmates lunge forward. Callum meets one head-on, blade flashing. Dominic shoves me behind a car, his eyes blazing with fury. Stay down, he orders, then turns to face the nearest alpha. I crouch behind the car, my whole body trembling. Not from fear, from something worse. The heat is peaking, burning through me like wildfire, and every instinct I have is screaming at me to run to Dominic and Callum, to let them protect me, to submit. No. I grit my teeth, forcing the instinct down. I'm not helpless. I'm not some damsel who needs saving. I touch the car's door handle, and immediately I'm flooded with images. The owner, their routine, their secrets, and their gun in the glove compartment. I yank the door open, praying it's unlocked. It is. I pop the glove box, and there it is. A small handgun, loaded. I've never fired a gun in my life. But desperate times, I grab it, check the safety like I've seen in movies, and stand up. Marcus has Dominic pinned against a concrete pillar, and Callum's fighting off 2 alphas at once. I raise the gun, hands shaking. Hey, asshole, I shout. Marcus turns, eyes widening when he sees the weapon. Let him go. For a heartbeat, no one moves. Then Marcus grins. You won't shoot. Try me. He does. He lunges, and I pull the trigger. The gunshot cracks through the parking garage like thunder. Marcus jerks sideways, the bullet grazing his shoulder instead of his chest. He stumbles, clutching the wound, his face twisting in rage and disbelief. You shot me, he snarls. I was aiming for your head, I snap back, even though my hands are shaking so hard I can barely hold the gun. Guess I need more practice. The other alphas freeze, staring at me like I've grown a second head. Even Callum and Dominic look stunned. River, Dominic says carefully, his voice tight. Put the gun down. Not until they leave, I say, keeping the weapon trained on Marcus. My heart is hammering, adrenaline mixing with the heat, coursing through my veins in a toxic cocktail that makes me feel invincible and terrified at the same time. Marcus's eyes narrow, silver, gleaming with fury. You just made the biggest mistake of your life, Omega. Get in line, I shoot back. I make about 5 of those before breakfast. River, Callum warns, moving closer. We need to go. Now. But Marcus isn't backing down. Blood seeps through his fingers, where he's gripping his shoulder, and instead of looking weakened, he looks enraged, dangerous. You think you're brave? Marcus asks, taking a step forward despite the gun. You think shooting me makes you strong? I think it makes you bleed, I reply. Which was kind of the point. He laughs, cold and bitter. You have no idea what you've just done. Attacking an alpha, there are laws, Omega, consequences. Yeah? I tilt my head, channeling every ounce of false confidence I can muster. Well, there are also laws against trying to kidnap someone, so I guess we're both having a bad night. Dominic moves between us, his presence like a wall of ice and fury. Leave, now, before this gets worse. Marcus's packmates shift nervously, glancing between their wounded leader and the two Alpha Kings blocking their path. This isn't over, Marcus says, his voice dropping to something dark and promising. The council will hear about this, and when they do, they'll take him from you, one way or another. Let them try, Callum says coldly. Marcus holds my gaze for another long moment, then gestures to his pack. They retreat slowly, backing toward the exit, and I don't lower the gun until they're gone and the sound of their footsteps has faded completely. The second they're out of sight, my legs give out. Dominic catches me before I hit the ground, gently taking the gun from my trembling hands. What the hell were you thinking? I was thinking you were about to get your ass kicked, I gasp, the adrenaline crash hitting me like a freight train. You're welcome, by the way. Callum appears on my other side, his hand cupping my face, forcing me to look at him. That was either the bravest or the stupidest thing I've ever seen. Can it be both? Despite everything, he grins. Yeah, it can be both. Dominic's not smiling. His jaw is clenched so tight, I'm worried he'll crack a tooth. And his hands are shaking slightly where they're gripping my arms. You could have been killed, he says, voice low and raw. So could you, I counter. That's different. How? Because I can heal from a bullet wound, he snaps. You can't. The fear in his voice catches me off guard. Not anger, fear. Hey, I say softly, reaching up to touch his face. His skin is warm beneath my palm, and the contact makes something in my chest twist. I'm okay. We're all okay. His gray eyes search mine, and for a moment, I see past the Alpha King exterior to the man underneath. The one who's lost too much. The one who's terrified of losing again. You don't get to do that, he says quietly. You don't get to risk yourself for me. Little late for that rule, I reply. Besides, someone has to keep you two alive. You're clearly bad at it. Callum laughs, but it sounds strained. He's got a point. Dominic doesn't laugh. He pulls me closer, his forehead resting against mine, and I can feel his breath ghosting over my lips. Don't do that again, he whispers. Can't promise that. His hand moves to the back of my neck, fingers tangling in my hair. River, I know, I breathe. I know what you're asking, but I can't just stand there and watch you get hurt. I won't. Something shifts in his expression. Something raw and desperate and terrifying. You're going to be the death of me, he murmurs. Probably, I agree, but at least you'll die entertained. And then, before I can think better of it, before I can remember all the reasons this is a bad idea, I close the distance between us and kiss him. It's not soft. It's not gentle. It's desperate and messy and filled with all the fear and adrenaline and heat burning through me. Dominic goes rigid for half a second, then makes a sound low in his throat and kisses me back. His hand tightens in my hair, his other arm wrapping around my waist, pulling me flush against him. The world narrows to this, his mouth on mine, his scent surrounding me, the way he tastes like smoke and mint, and something darker, something addictive. Someone clears their throat. We break apart, and I turn to find Callum watching us with an expression I can't quite read. Not angry, not jealous, something else. Sorry, I say breathlessly. I just needed to do that. Callum's green eyes darken. Don't apologize. He steps closer, and suddenly I'm trapped between them again. But this time, it doesn't feel threatening. It feels right. River, Callum says softly, his hand coming up to trace my jaw. If you're going to kiss one of us, you should probably kiss both. My breath catches. That's fair, he supplies, smirking. I was going to say presumptuous. And yet you're not saying no. He's right. I'm not. Dominic's hand tightens on my waist, and I can feel the tension radiating off him. Not anger, something else. Permission, maybe. Callum leans in slowly, giving me time to pull away. I don't. His lips brush mine, soft and teasing. The complete opposite of Dominic's claiming kiss. This one is patient, exploratory, like he's learning me. When he pulls back, I'm trembling, for entirely different reasons. We should go, Dominic says roughly, before Marcus comes back with reinforcements. What about Dylan? I ask, trying to clear my head. Callum pulls out his phone, typing quickly. I'm texting my beta. He'll get your brother out through the service entrance and bring him to the safe house. Your beta? I frown. You trust him with this? With my life, Callum says simply. And now, with yours. Dominic guides me toward Callum's car, a sleek black SUV that probably costs more than my entire year's rent. He opens the back door, helping me inside, then slides in beside me. Callum takes the driver's seat, starting the engine. As we pull out of the parking garage, I catch a glimpse of movement in the shadows. Someone watching. But before I can focus on it, we're out on the street. Rain streaking the windows, the city lights blurring past. Where are we going? I ask, my voice small. Somewhere safe, Dominic says, his hand finding mine in the darkness. You keep saying that, I murmur, but I'm starting to think nowhere's safe anymore. Callum's eyes meet mine in the rearview mirror. Then, we'll make it safe. I want to believe him. But as the heat continues to build inside me, as the memory of Marcus's silver eyes burns in my mind, I can't shake the feeling that this is only the beginning, that whatever's coming next is going to be so much worse. The city blurs past the windows, neon signs melting into streaks of color through the rain. I rest my head against the cool glass, trying to focus on anything other than the fire spreading through my veins. It's not working. Every breath feels too shallow, every heartbeat too loud, and the scent of both alphas in this confined space is making it impossible to think straight. How much longer? I ask, my voice rough. 10 minutes, Callum says from the front, maybe less if traffic cooperates. Traffic better cooperate, I mutter, closing my eyes, because I don't know how much longer I can. I trail off as another wave hits me, stronger this time. My skin feels too tight, too hot, and there's an ache building low in my stomach that I'm trying very hard to ignore. Dominic's hand tightens around mine. Breathe through it. Easy for you to say, I gasp. You're not the one feeling like you're burning from the inside out. His thumb traces circles on the back of my hand, and the simple touch helps ground me. Barely. I know, he says quietly. I'm sorry. I open my eyes, turning to look at him. In the dim light from passing street lamps, his face is all sharp angles and shadows, beautiful and dangerous. Stop apologizing, I say. This isn't your fault, isn't it? His grey eyes meet mine, and there's guilt there, raw and honest. If we hadn't pushed you into coming to the council hall, if we hadn't— Stop, I interrupt, squeezing his hand. I made my own choices. I'm the one who walked into that building. I'm the one who kissed you. A ghost of a smile touches his lips. You did do that. Yeah, well, I try for casual and fail miserably. Heat of the moment, literally. Callum's voice drifts back from the driver's seat. For what it's worth, I'm not complaining about the kissing. Despite everything, I laugh. It comes out shaky and breathless, but it's real. Good to know I haven't completely traumatized you both. Not even close, Callum says, and I can hear the smile in his voice. The car takes a sharp turn, and I'm thrown against Dominic's side. He catches me easily, his arm coming around my shoulders, holding me steady. Sorry, Callum says. Shortcut. Warn a guy next time, I grumble, but I don't pull away from Dominic's hold. Can't. My body won't let me. We're driving through a quieter part of the city now, the buildings spread further apart, trees lining the streets. It's darker here, more secluded. Where exactly is this safe house, I ask. Edge of Silvercrest territory, Dominic says. Neutral ground. No pack has claim to it. Convenient. Strategic, he corrects. I bought it 3 years ago for situations exactly like this. I raise an eyebrow. You plan for rogue omegas in heat often? His expression doesn't change. I plan for everything. The car slows, turning into a long driveway lined with tall pines. At the end sits a house, modern and minimalist. All glass and dark wood. Lights glow from inside, warm and inviting. Callum parks in front, killing the engine. The sudden silence is deafening. Stay here, he says, already opening his door. I'll check the perimeter first. He disappears into the darkness, moving with that predator's grace again, and I'm left alone with Dominic in the back seat. The tension is immediate, suffocating. River, Dominic says softly. I turn to him, and the look in his eyes makes my breath catch. There's want there, need, but also restraint, like he's holding himself back by sheer force of will. Yeah? My voice comes out barely above a whisper. When we get inside, he says carefully, things are going to get harder. Your heat will peak soon, and being around us will make it worse. I swallow hard. I know. You need to understand what that means. His hand comes up, brushing hair back from my face, and the gentleness of it nearly breaks me. We can help you through it, ease the pain, but only if you want us to. And if I don't? Then we don't touch you, he says simply. We'll stay in separate rooms, bring you what you need. But River, he pauses, jaw clenching. It will hurt, a lot. Going through heat without an alpha is. Agony, I finish. I've heard. He nods. So the choice is yours. It has to be yours. I study his face, looking for any sign of manipulation, any hint that this is just about what he wants. But all I see is sincerity and fear. Fear that I'll say no. Fear that I'll say yes. Fear that either choice will break something between us. What do you want? I ask quietly. His eyes close briefly, like the question pains him. It doesn't matter what I want. It does to me. He opens his eyes, and the intensity in his gaze steals my breath. I want you. I've wanted you since the moment you walked into that council room with fire in your eyes and sarcasm on your tongue. But I won't take what isn't freely given. My heart is racing, and I don't know if it's the heat, or his words, or both. The car door opens, and Callum leans in. Clear. Let's get him inside before. He stops, looking between us, reading the tension. Before what? I ask. Callum's expression softens. Before you have to make a choice you're not ready for. But the thing is, I think I'm more ready than I want to admit. Dominic helps me out of the car, and the cool night air hits my overheated skin like a balm. I take a shaky breath, trying to center myself. We walk to the front door, Callum unlocking it with a code. Inside, the house is exactly as I expected. Clean lines, minimal furniture, everything designed for function rather than comfort. Except for one room. Through an open doorway, I can see a bedroom with a massive bed covered in soft blankets and pillows. The lights are low, casting warm shadows across the walls. A nest. My Omega instincts latch onto it immediately, and I have to physically stop myself from walking toward it. "That's for you," Dominic says, noticing my reaction. "If you want it." "And if I don't?" Callum points to a hallway. "Guest rooms are that way. Pick whichever one you want. We'll stay on the opposite side of the house." It's a genuine offer. I can see it in both their faces. They mean it, which makes this so much harder. "I need a minute," I say, wrapping my arms around myself, "to think." "Take all the time you need," Dominic says, but his voice is strained. They start to move away, giving me space, and something inside me cracks. "Wait," I call out. They both turn back, hope and wariness warring on their faces. I struggle to find the words. "I need you to promise me something." "Anything," Callum says immediately. I look at Dominic. "Both of you," he nods. "Name it." "Promise me this isn't just about the heat," I say, hating how vulnerable I sound. "Promise me that when this is over, you won't regret it, won't regret me." The silence that follows feels eternal. Then Dominic crosses the distance between us in 3 strides, cupping my face in his hands, forcing me to meet his eyes. "River Calloway," he says, voice low and fierce. "I have never regretted anything less in my entire life." His words settle over me like a promise, and something inside my chest unclenches. "Okay," I breathe. "Okay." Callum moves closer, stopping just beside Dominic. "Okay, meaning?" "Meaning I choose this," I say, looking between them. "I choose you. Both of you. But if either of you makes me regret it, I'm shooting you for real next time." Callum's grin is immediate and blinding. "Deal." Dominic's thumb brushes my cheekbone, and his expression softens in a way I've never seen before. "You're sure?" "I'm terrified," I admit. "But yeah, I'm sure." He leans down, pressing his forehead against mine. "We'll take care of you. I promise." "I know," I whisper. "That's why I'm saying yes." The heat chooses that moment to surge again, stronger than before, and I gasp, my knees buckling. Dominic catches me, lifting me into his arms like I weigh nothing. "Bedroom," Callum says, already moving ahead to open doors. Dominic carries me into the nest room, and the moment I'm surrounded by those soft blankets and pillows, something primal in me settles. This is right. This is safe. He lays me down gently, and both alphas kneel on either side of the bed, their eyes dark with want, but also patience. "Tell us what you need," Dominic says softly. "You," I say without hesitation. "Both of you. Close. They don't need to be told twice." Dominic slides onto the bed beside me, pulling me against his chest, and Callum settles on my other side, his hand finding mine. Their scents wrap around me, pine and smoke mixing with cedarwood and rain, and it's like finally being able to breathe after drowning. "Better?" Callum murmurs against my temple. "So much better," I admit, melting into their warmth. The next hours blur together in sensation and emotion. They touch me with reverence, like I'm something precious. Every kiss is a promise, every whispered word a vow. When the bonding happens, it's not violent or claiming. It's gentle, a choice made 3 times over. Dominic's mark settles on the right side of my neck, and I feel the bond snap into place, like a lock clicking home. Warmth floods through me, not the burning heat from before, but something deeper, something permanent. Then Callum's mark mirrors it on the left side, and suddenly I can feel them. Not just physically, but emotionally. Their fear, their hope, their fierce protectiveness, and underneath it all, something that feels terrifyingly close to love. "Holy shit," I gasp. I can feel you. Both of you. And we can feel you, Dominic says, his voice rough with emotion. Your strength, your fire, everything that makes you River. Callum presses a kiss to my shoulder. You're ours now, officially. And you're mine, I counter, because fair is fair. Both of you. Which means no more territorial alpha bullshit. You work together or I'm revoking kissing privileges. They both laugh, the sound warm and genuine, and through the bond, I feel their agreement, their commitment, not just to me, but to each other. We stay tangled together as the heat finally begins to ebb, leaving me exhausted but content, safe in a way I've never felt before. Dylan, I murmur, sleepily. Is he? He's fine, Callum assures me, his fingers threading through my hair. My beta texted 20 minutes ago. Dylan's at a safe house 3 miles from here. He's asking about you. Tell him I'm okay, I say. Tell him I'm home. And it's true. This, right here, between these two impossible alphas who somehow fit together despite hating each other for years, this feels like home. We will, Dominic promises. But first, you need to rest. Bossy, I mumble, but I'm already drifting. You love it, he counters, and through the bond, I feel his amusement. He's not wrong. I wake to sunlight streaming through the windows and the smell of coffee. For a moment, I panic, thinking it was all a dream. But then I feel the marks on my neck, the steady presence of 2 bonds humming in my chest, and I relax. Dominic and Callum are in the kitchen, and through the open doorway, I can see them moving around each other with surprising coordination for 2 alphas who supposedly hate each other. You're staring, Callum calls without turning around. Maybe I like the view, I shoot back, sitting up and wincing slightly. My body aches in ways I'm going to need to get used to. Dominic appears in the doorway, carrying a mug. Coffee, black, 2 sugars. I blink. How did you know? I pay attention, he says simply, handing me the cup. I take a sip, and it's perfect. Show off, his lips quirk. You're bonded to 2 alpha kings. Get used to being spoiled. I'll try to suffer through it, I say dryly. Callum joins us, settling on the edge of the bed. Dylan will be here in an hour. I figured you'd want to see him. My chest tightens, with gratitude. Thank you. Both of you. You don't need to thank us, Dominic says. You're packed now, family. We take care of our own. Through the bond, I feel the truth of his words, the absolute certainty that they'll protect me, protect Dylan, protect what we're building together. So what now, I ask. The council, Marcus, all of that? Now, Callum says, his eyes gleaming with something dangerous and satisfied, we make it very clear that you're claimed, bonded, untouchable. And anyone who has a problem with that can take it up with both of us. Simultaneously, Dominic adds. I grin. I really picked the most dramatic alphas, didn't it? You picked the best, Callum corrects, stealing a kiss. The strongest, Dominic adds, claiming his own. The most humble, I mutter against his lips and feel his smile. Later, when Dylan arrives and crushes me in a hug, when the sun sets on our first day as a bonded pack, when I fall asleep between 2 alphas who've somehow become my entire world, I realize something. I'm not helpless anymore. I'm not caught between them. I'm choosing them. Every day, every moment. And they're choosing me back. That's not being trapped. That's being free. Thank you for watching this story to the end. If you enjoyed this story, you will surely love the next one. It's as crazier and more intriguing as can ever imagine. So do check it out. Hit subscribe. The next story drops soon.